Coming up, Brock Lesnar's new look, WWE scrapping major WrestleMania plans, heat on Chris Jericho, and my review of AEW Dynamite.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Please smash that subscribe button for daily wrestling videos. But first, our top story. Man grows beard in lockdown. A fan has posted a photo of Brock Lesnar on their Instagram, showing a new look for the former WWE and Universal Champion, who now has
a great big bushy beard.
Apparently taken in Alberta during Brock's annual fall hunting trip, which is an incredibly scary thought. Lesnar is now sporting a goatee as opposed to his previous foray into facial hair, the terrifying full-on bear beard. Brock is currently a free agent with his WWE contract expiring after April's WrestleMania, and WWE removing any of his merchandise from their shop in August, potentially as a negotiating ploy to get him to return. He's, as usual, also been flirting with a return to the UFC, being a central part of UFC 4's Brocktober marketing campaign. Do you think we'll see the GOAT? Brock Lesnar return to WWE soon? And which Lesnar look do you prefer this fall? Let me know in the comments. Lesnar was last seen in WWE being the WrestleMania 36 co-main event behind Drew McIntyre versus The Big Show. But according to AEW's Miro, the former Rusev in WWE, neither match could have closed out the show, telling Talk's Jericho that Paul Heyman was planning for him versus Bobby Lashley to be one of the main event programs. I think Paul Heyman called us with that story, and I was like, where is it leading? Of course, this is my first question. Cool, it's not my favorite story, but where is it leading? One of the main events of WrestleMania. When you hear that, what are you going to say? There's plans. Cool. I jumped on board, and I knew it was a red flag since the beginning. Unsurprisingly, for a storyline that featured adultery, a divorce, a lesbian affair, and cuckolding, it didn't pan out. Warning! We're about to talk about the real world. Warning! Please be nice to each other in the comments. The final results of the US presidential election are yet to be announced, with votes still being counted in some vital electoral college states. So let's turn to self-confessed, not a political person Chris Jericho for his political opinion. I'm not a political person, but is it strange to anybody else that for the first time ever we have to wait a day, 2 days, 5 days, 10 days to find out who won the presidential race? Many fans and wrestlers alike fired back with, no, it's not strange, because it happened quite famously 20 years ago. Jericho's real-life very good friend Lance Storm publicly urged him. The 2000 election took a month to finally be decided. Not exactly the first time ever. I cut promos about this in WCW. Palm on face emoji! While WWE host Pete Rosenberg said, yeah, super strange. You remember what it's normally like during the other pandemics? Shut up, Chris. And MVP simply told him to delete this tweet. Jericho would later reply to a fan who reminded him about the 2000 election, saying, thanks, I forgot about that, and I appreciate the info. But enough politics, it's time to bury our head in the sand and forget about all the stuff that's happening in the world, while I review last night's episode of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. AEW's Full Gear Go Home show opened with a demo and seemingly political analyst god Chris Jericho talking up Jake Hager's recent MMA win, where he kicked a guy in the dick, and calling MJF out for lacking the killer instinct and being SAWF. We're not allowed to do that anymore. Soft. He called him soft. It's yet another tease that MJF will do whatever it takes to beat Jericho this Saturday, with him tapping out Ortiz in the tag match opener here and then attacking Y2J on commentary after the match. Jericho sold this with a manic smile, proud of the monster he's creating. All MJF wanted was to learn teamwork. But the real standout in this match was Sammy Guevara, who had an incredible hot tag, showing a glimpse at what an amazing babyface he can eventually be. We've all been looking at MJF versus Jungle Boy as the future of AEW, but perhaps it's MJF versus Guevara. He was taken out though by his feud that won't die with Matt Hardy, for which Sammy got his revenge before the private party match later on. In a blood feud over an arcade machine, the beefiest man took on Trent in easily Miro's best showing so far in AEW. This was hard hitting, they got a decent amount of time, and Miro even got a clean submission victory over the very well protected Trent after his leg collapsed on a springboard. With one eye on the pay-per-view, AEW also effectively built Orange Cassidy versus John Silver at ringside. Team Taz, however, don't have anything to do at Full Gear, so Taz, Brian Cage and Ricky Starks threatened they will have a presence at this Saturday's show. It's a testament to how deep AEW's roster is that so many great wrestlers don't have matches at Full Gear, which is because Kenny Omega and Hangman Page can't go less than an hour bell to bell. I never want their feud to end. In the best feud on the show, nay, the entire wrestling industry in 2020, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page got sit-down interviews with Tony Schiavone and JR respectively. Omega spoke from his rented house that's not his dog, about how he's won every tournament he's ever been in and how he's destined to win this one and then the AEW Championship. Page, however, was fascinatingly more self-destructive. Whereas Kenny was full of confidence, Hangman was one loss away from utter despair. This Saturday will be the closest he's come to the AEW title since All Out 2019, where he wasn't good enough. And if he loses that, all he'll have is the glass of whiskey in his hand. JR then sagely advised, moderation, dear boy, moderation. A barbecue sauce. While some might argue these two should have had a big face-to-face explosion in the ring to sell the pay-per-view, I think it's again time to marvel at their restraint. As FTR beat down the Young Bucks yet again, Page ran down for the save, happily as though the last month's worth of ineffective tag division booking didn't happen. But not to be outdone, Omega ran down too. It was bittersweet to see the Elite all together again, because it'll undoubtedly be the last time, as the divisions have run too deep and Omega and Page are about to fully implode. The Bucks versus FTR, however, it is what it is. Following FTR admitting in our interview with them yesterday that they haven't been happy with their match build, the Bucks beat Private Party in a way to push forward the last-minute story course corrections. Their feud is no longer confusingly about the Bucks being heels, but also faces against FTR, who are also heels. It's now simply about Matt Jackson's ankle being injured and the Bucks never getting a tag title shot again if they lose. One feud that has been perfect since it accidentally began though is Eddie Kingston versus Jon Moxley, with Kingston taking the idea of face-to-face very literally, immediately pressing his nose against Mox's to cut one of the best dueling promos I've ever seen. Not only was the content great, that the AEW title is why Eddie's mum doesn't have a grandchild, that if Mox has learned anything in his career, it's that loyalty is a bitch. God damn you, Seth Rollins. But they actually spoke over each other like a real argument. This was spine-tingling stuff, and somehow they made me want to see them fight more than anything else on the card. Guess who's Pac? Pac again. Pac is back, 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 Pac is back. Pac is back. Ooh. Pac sent in a psychotic promo showing he's gone a little crazy in lockdown with only himself to play with, but unlike everyone else in lockdown, he's gotten insanely more ripped. Don't worry, pizza. Abs will never taste as good as you. Nyla Rose squashed Red Velvet in AEW's contractually obligated women's match, and then Vicky Guerrero called Brandi Rhodes the chief bull S-word officer and told Shida Nyla's winning the belt. This was lipstick service. Just when you thought the Omega versus Page build couldn't get any better, they then played a power ballad montage of their good times and bad, complete with added Don Callis. And the odd choice for a go-home show's main event saw Cody and the Gun Club versus the lower tier of the Dark Order. Austin Gunn picked up the win to confirm him and his dad joining the Nightmare family. The real pay-per-view sell though came with Cody's post-match promo on his TNT title challenger Darby Allin, who was watching on from the stands after playing his latest short film, He Did It for the Emo Rock. What did you think of the Full Gear Go Home show? Let me know in the comments. While this was probably one of the weakest Go Home shows in Dynamite's history, that is a very high bar, and it still had fantastic builds to Moxley versus Kingston and Omega versus Page. This week's Dynamite is 4 out of 5. If you like this video, please smash that subscribe button for daily wrestling videos and enable notifications to always on to get mine and Lukewarm Luke Owen's full podcast review later today, where we'll be hearing from the Full Jam special guest referee, El Fagador. We bought him a referee t-shirt. The Rock has revealed his backstage heat in WWE. Click the video on the right to find out who with, and will Sting debut at Full Gear? Click the video below that for mine, Luke and Laurie's AEW predictions, where I will retain my championship. I've been Mr. Davis. Jam that jam.